famous for their rice paper roll, you know, and each chef or restaurant would have their own interpretation of the fillings. Traditionally, though, this rice paper roll has shrimp, and boiled pork. And then you have lettuce, bean sprout, mint or basil, rice noodles. That's basically all that's inside the roll. Some of the restaurants would then make it, you know, they do grilled pate or the pork roll. Some people do soft shell crab, you know, just different variation. I keep it a little bit more traditional, so my rolls have boiled shrimp. The pork, instead of boiling it, where it's a little bland, I grill it. I marinate and grill the pork. And it's basically all that I do. You know, I still use lettuce, noodles, cucumber, and then I put a little bit of pickled daikon and carrots, which you probably see in a lot of Vietnamese restaurants in some of the luchan. You know, just shred up the daikon, which is the radish, which is white, and then the carrot, and then I pickle them in water, vinegar, salt, and a little bit of sugar, and you just let it kind of sit, so it's like pickling. It gives you a little bit of that tangy. So it sort of gives it a little bit more of that depth to the roll. I have shredded cucumber here, and this is, you know, actually this is my personal take on this. Most of the time, the rice paper roll would have like either mint, just mint, or basil. This is purple gorilla, and it's like a sushi family. You know, you have sushi. It's the same family as seashell, and but it's purple gorilla. It has like a licorice, kind of basil-y, minty kind of combination. It's really, really good. And then of course you have your lettuce. And then I have the, you know, the rice noodle, which is really like pasta. You cook it like pasta. You boil it, you rinse it in cold water though, because after, you know, whereas in pasta they said not to rinse it because the sauce will cling to pasta. This you have to rinse because it has so much starch in them that if you don't rinse it, it will sit and it will be like a blob of glue. And by the time you take it out, it will be all broken. It doesn't taste very good. So you actually have to rinse them and then let it dry, and then it will be like fluffy but still sticky like this. Okay, and that's rice noodle. And then of course I have the boiled shrimp, which I have, and then this is just grilled pork. You can marinate the pork in pretty much anything. I marinate it with a little soy sauce, a little brown sugar, some garlic, a little bit of oil, and mine has a combination of fish sauce and soy sauce. Because fish sauce is what Vietnamese cooking is, really the seasoning for Vietnamese and Thai. So I have a little bit of fish sauce. The rice paper, when it comes to rice paper, my thing on this is that, you know, you go to the grocery store and it's like overwhelming. It's like, okay, you know, there's like round one, there's square ones, there's rectangular, there's right triangle, and there's big one, small one, medium. What do I do? Well, for beginners, I would use a little bit of a big one. This is more room for you to make mistakes. So it's kind of makes sense. So that's number one. And then as you become expert in doing this, and after like 2 or 3 times, you become expert, then you say, oh, I don't want to taste, I don't want to eat a whole lot of rice paper, so you start buying this more. And then when you become like one of the celebrity chef on TV, then you use really small rice paper if you want just bite-sized sort of a spring roll or egg roll. This is made with just rice flour, and it's really thin batter, rice flour and salt, and then now they actually add tapioca flour in them for the so that it's a little bit stretchy and it doesn't tear as much. How they make these in the traditional way is that they have this big pot of water with a really thin linen material on top of this steamer, really thin material, and then just strain that over. They tie it down to make it really tight. They will then scoop this rice flour onto this thin paper material, and immediately, because the steam is so hot that it just immediately sort of cooks it. They cover it up, and they have this really long, thin bamboo sticks. They will then get down and lift that thin paper, rice paper up. When it's really soft, it's kind of draped over. It's like a piece of really thin paper. They will then take this, put it on a bamboo slat, and that's why you have all these little marks. It's from the bamboo slats drying in the sun. Now, of course, they're manufacturing this in factories, and they still mimic that, just to make it look like that. But if you go back to Vietnam, because I do culinary tour to Vietnam once a year, and I take people out to the Mekong Delta, they still make them from scratch for local people to use. Because in Vietnam, or actually a lot of these manufacturing, the factory are in Thailand actually. But in Vietnam, a lot of local people still use the traditional locally made rice paper.